Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be attraction, reading between the lines. Well, I've got 4 emails I'm going to go through with you today. But before we get into the first one, I've got a quote that I wrote that I'd like to share with you. And it says, when it comes to the game of love and romance, it often can be hard to determine the object of your affections' true intentions towards you when you are blinded by your own feelings and emotions. The key to preventing heartbreak will be your ability to remain objective and look at their actions instead of projecting your high attraction level, emotions, desires, and fantasies onto them and assuming that they feel the same way. You can only build a solid foundation for a healthy relationship upon mutual attraction and effort. Love is a two-way street, but if you ignore the red flags and lack of effort of the other person, you're bound to get run over in both directions. So let's go ahead and jump right into this guy's email. He says, "Hey Corey, I've been reading on your website and watching your YouTube videos a couple of times, and I decided to write about a little situation. I'm a senior in college and I play soccer. On Saturday night, which is the men and women's soccer team, were coming home from our trip, and I asked one of my teammates on the bus about one of the girls that's on our team to get her number. Well, that's a weak way to go about it. Instead of approaching her directly, now you went indirectly. This is not helping you look confident when you do this. This is the kind of stuff I used to do when I was in high school. Didn't work very well." He says, "He gave it to me and told me that she was single, as did my other friend. I wanted to make sure she was so that I didn't waste time with her." I'd say the real reason that you did it is you just didn't want to get rejected publicly. But that's the thing, you got to go ahead and risk it. It's like, fuck it. You got to be bold, be confident, and not care about the consequences. It's like, damn the consequences, they don't fucking matter. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't a choice. She either likes you or she doesn't. But when you start acting this way, you communicate a lack of confidence. He says, "So I texted her right away in the bus, and we exchanged 4 to 5 texts about the game, and after we got back, I texted her one last time and said we should hang out tomorrow. She replied, 'Sure, what are we going to do?' I told her, 'Go eat.' And she said, 'Okay.' So on Monday, I texted her at 6 and asked her if she's ready, and she said, 'Yeah.' Well, that tells me you didn't make a definite date. You just kind of left things up in the air, and so you had to wait till the last minute to find out whether or not she was actually going to keep the date. That can't be fun as you're thinking about her and wondering about her and looking forward to it. There's also that fear in the back of your mind that she may ditch you at the last minute. So these are little mistakes that you're making that are not going to help your case, especially when you display weak behavior." He says, "So I picked her up and we went to the restaurant. After we got our food and sat down, we just clicked right away. We kept talking nonstop. It was like a perfect date. So after we were done, I took her back to her dorm, and before she got out of my car, she gave me a hug and asked, 'Are we gonna hang out again?' I told her, 'Yeah,' with a smile, and told her good night." He says, "I know you preached to go for the kiss in the first date, and I was going to do it, but she went for a hug as I was going for a kiss." Ah, that tells me everything. That tells me that she's thinking friendship, and you're thinking romance. You can't ignore that stuff because you really like the girl. You got to pay attention to those things. He says, "And I didn't want to make it awkward by colliding with her, so I just hugged her back." He says, "So fast forward the next day, she had a game, and I texted her right after asking how she did." It's way too soon, dude. He says, "I didn't get a reply." What does that tell you? Not very interested. Because the very next day, it comes off as being needy. I mean, you should have other things going on with your life, and you're just making the typical mistake that the average guy makes. You're like over eager to make something happen with this girl. That's just going to make her run away from you. Because remember, when women go out, they're looking at it from the perspective of, is this guy a good match for me? Is he going to be good for me? And when you act like most of the guys that she meets, over anxious, over eager, trying to plan multiple dates really quick, too easy, too available, leaving the schedule wide open, not setting definite dates, doing the end around and asking a friend of hers to give you her number and then just calling her out of the blue, it doesn't make you look confident. He says, so the next day at like 5, I texted her again and asked her if she got my message from the other day, and she said, yeah. Well, that response tells you like, she's not into it, dude. And the fact is you didn't wait for her to get back to you. That's more confirmation to her that you're needy and you're insecure about yourself. And you've just done a bunch of little things that just make you look bad. You don't look like a guy who's confident and used to getting what you want. Because you're expecting the way you respond when you don't wait for her is that, oh, I'm just expecting you to blow me off and not like me very much, because that's what always happens with girls that I like. That's how you come across. And he says, I'm thinking, okay, why not reply? Because she had a low attraction level. She just wasn't that into you, dude. That's why. See, this is the thing, is guys get all wrapped up and you're like, what's this mean? I don't understand. Think about it. If she was really excited to hear from you, she's like, oh, hey, great to hear from you. So he says, so I was like, whatever, maybe she wasn't in the mood. Well, that's partially right. She just wasn't into you, dude. He says, right away, I asked her if she wanted to go to a movie this Friday. This was on a Wednesday night. I asked her this. So far, she hasn't responded back yet, and I haven't texted her again. Well, I wouldn't. There's no reason to. And you don't go out on movie dates or lunch dates. Because it's like when you hung out and you gave her, she gives you the hug, it's totally friendship vibe that she's giving off. He says, am I tripping or what? Oh, you're just a bad pickup artist, dude. He says, before she left, she asked me if we're going to hang out again, and I tried to set it up, and she doesn't even reply. She's not interested. That's why, dude. I know it's not what your ego wants to hear, but that it is what it is. And you can't ignore reality. Just like Ayn Rand says, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And the consequences are she's blowing you off. He says, I'm the last guy to text back twice because I think it's pitiful. Well, you did it, so you're saying you're pitiful. He says, especially when I'm dealing with a girl. Should I ask her what's up or just try to set up another date without bringing up the past? Dude, if she's interested, she'll make mutual effort, and she's not making any. So you're really low on the totem pole in her list of priorities. Or just let her go, and if she doesn't text back at all, I'll just forget about her. Ding, ding, there you go. That's the correct response. That's what I would do. But next time, be direct and go up to her and just say, hey, I think you're amazing. I think you're beautiful. I think you got a great body. Or you're really awesome. You're a cool chick. When are you free to meet up for a drink? Hey, let's have dinner together. When are you free? Just go right into it. She'll like that. She'll appreciate the fact that you're putting your balls in the chopping block, and it doesn't matter, because not every girl's going to like you. It's like, who cares? What if 1 out of 10 says yes to you? So what? All you need is one really great girl to have a great relationship with. It's just simply a numbers game. Don't take it personally. So let's get into the second guy's email. He says, hey, Coach, I've been quite a fan of your videos and have recommended your ebook to a lot of my male friends. They are a little laid back about ebooks, so usually I'm the one giving them serious sermons about not pursuing women and being focused on their purpose, quoting excerpts from your book. But lately I've been dating this girl, and although I know what I should be doing in this case, the reason I'm writing to you is to understand her actions and the reason behind them, and to learn to read her cards. Ones that she's holding close. Well, what that tells me is that you really like this girl, and you're just kind of blinded by your attraction level for her. And at the end of the day, she's not responding like you want her to respond. And when that happens, typically the average guy tries to force it, just like in the previous guy's email. He doesn't hear from her, so the next day he's like, hey, did you get my text? Well, of course she got your text. He says, so we met in July, and she was the one who initiated a meeting, as she had my number, and I didn't even know she existed. Well, that's a good sign. So she somehow got your number from maybe somebody that knew you and reached out. He says, we met for coffee, and she wanted to hang out for some more time, but I cut it short and told her some other time. And I saw her jaw drop, and I left. Obviously, you left her wanting more. It was like a cliffhanger. It was like, it's over already? When am I going to see you next? That's what she's thinking at that moment. He says, we met again next week, and her interest level was really high. We slept together a couple of times and went on maybe 10 dates in 2 months. Then I had a backpacking trip planned, and she dropped a bomb about kissing some other dude. At this point, we were not exclusive. I told her he can keep you busy while I'm away. It's like, it's not really much else you can say to something like that. She's not your girlfriend. She hasn't brought the exclusivity talk up, but if you've been hooking up for 2 months, it tells me there's obviously things that you're doing, because it takes about 7 weeks for the woman to hit a 9 out of 10 on the attraction scale, like I talk about in my book. On a scale of 1 to 10, once a woman hits a 9, then she really starts to fall in love, and that's when she starts bringing up the topic of relationship and being exclusive. He says, but inside there was a volcano about to erupt, which I managed to calm down quite nicely. Good job. You maintained your self-control. He says, she asked me, because nothing a woman does should ever diminish you. And in this particular case, even though you felt diminished internally, you didn't show it externally. He says, she asked me where we are now as a couple, and I asked her, what do you mean? Where have I heard that before? And was hoping she wants exclusivity, but she blamed the whole kissing episode on me. I know, passive aggressive. And that it just happened because I was never there for her. Well, that tells me you didn't really understand how to communicate and open her up and get her to feel comfortable. There was something was not being met, some particular need, and that's why she felt compelled to hang out with other dudes. He says, because I mean, at the end of the day, when she hits a 9, it's like she doesn't have eyes for any other dude. She only wants you. He says, I told her that she needs to clear her mind and get back to me when she has a clean slate, and I started walking away. She grabbed me and said she doesn't want to lose me. So then 90% of the time, she initiated calls and texts, and she also broke a date with me before my trip that we had planned because I wanted to meet her before I left, and I'm guessing she assumed I am making up for the not being their part and losing her to this other dude, a test for being needy. I would just say women don't break dates with guys that they're crazy about and that they're chasing and that they're in love with. They break dates with guys that they're really not that into. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So there obviously was something, because this girl started out by pursuing you, and now she's breaking dates with you. Think about it. But at this point, obviously, you're emotionally wrapped up in her, and it's hard to admit that stuff to yourself. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I wrote a book about it, by the way. He says, I told her, no problem. Let's do it some other time. Keep in touch. We kept in touch, she pursuing, and when I was in Africa, she told me that I shouldn't be charming with other ladies like I am with her. I acted indifferently, and when my trip was over, she wanted to see me first thing. So we met right away, had lunch, and made out. Well, you're going to lunch dates. That's a no-no. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. Because when you go to lunch, that's the friendship kind of thing. He says, then her interest level started dropping because I started acting a little dopey. Well, I would have to say you were probably acting dopey before then. That's probably what led to her breaking that date before you left. He says, when she started asking me about my feelings towards her, I ended up giving her the relationship vibe. He says, I know, big mistake. And she got alarmed and said, I am concerned. Oh, listen to this. I am concerned for you that you may get hurt. In other words, what she says, I can tell you're definitely a lot more into me than I am into you. And if that continues, I'm going to ditch your ass and probably break your heart. Sorry about that in advance. That's what's going on there. He says, I read between the lines and told her, let's just not complicate things and take it one day at a time. He says she pretended to be relieved when I said that, but her tone didn't make it seem okay. She sounded confused when I used that ace, as he puts it. He says, the night after that, we had phone sex, and in the spur of the moment, after she climaxed, she said, can you hold me? Can you just pretend to be in love with me? What's that having phone sex? Like, why are you not inviting her over to hang out, have fun, and hook up? It's like, come on, man. You're becoming her therapist at this point. You're like the gay male girlfriend. He says, to which I replied, yes. Now, I don't know what's on her mind, and she's not willing to lay her cards on the table unless I do, which will be anti-challenge. I also know that she's still in touch with this other dude, as they are both friends on Facebook, and I am not. I've never even asked her about it and don't care much either. Well, that's another. If you were really that important to her, she would have sent you a friend request on Facebook. But you're probably just another guy that she's dating, because like you said, you've been acting dopey. And obviously you were acting dopey way before you admitted to yourself that you were acting dopey. He says, last we spoke, she was complaining again about how I don't initiate calls, which I do 10% of the time, and that she won't call me now. I called her that same night. She didn't pick up. And ever since, she's been online on phone messages, but doesn't want to return my last phone call, which was 4 days ago. I'm trying to go on about my life because if I call her again, which I will not, you better not, I'll be pursuing her like a needy jackass. Should I call her again after a week or so? It's like, what did you just say? If I call her again, I'll be pursuing her like a needy jackass. And then you say, should I call her again after a week or so? Come on, man. He says, I am assuming she has been burnt before. Oh, now you're rationalizing. This is the how you tell yourself, you bullshit yourself, like, oh, I'll just call her one more time. It won't make a difference. It won't make me look weak. So she wants me to lay my cards first, and then she'll follow suit. And I'm not sure, though. Am I her backup option here? Probably. Help me figure out her cards. Well, it sounds like you've pretty much done a good job of turning her off, especially with your dopey and your needy behavior and over pursuing her. So there's nothing you can do at this point. Wait to hear from her. If she reaches out to you, hey, babe, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together next? Then make a date. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. Keep it really simple. And read my book, because obviously you don't know it well enough because you're still making a lot of little mistakes and you don't think they're really big, but obviously this girl blew you off. This girl started out chasing you and initiating things with you to now she's not even returning your calls. So think about that. So let's get to the third guy's email. He says, hey, Corey, I've been dating a girl for about 2 months and we've gone out for a couple of times. You've been dating 2 months and you've gone out a couple of times. A couple of times means 2. So is that 1 date a month? He says, we also made out each time that we saw each other, but we haven't had sex yet. Recently, she acts cold and says it's because of her family issue. Yeah, that's a whatever. Family issue, my ass. She has some family issue that makes her anxious and depressed. She also doesn't seem to talk to me much about her problems because she believes it's not fair to me to hear all negative things about her family. This tells me you've probably been like her therapist and you're just not getting anywhere. 2 dates in 2 months, it's not a good sign. He says, what's the best thing to do to make her feel better and avoid her family problems that affect our relationship directly? Well, first off, you don't have a relationship. You've been out on 2 dates in 2 months. There ain't nothing going on, dude. He says, should I be more patient with her, or is that her way of saying break up with me before I break up with you? 2 dates in 2 months. There's nothing to break up. You're just a guy she went out with a couple of times. You definitely, your head's in the clouds, man, and it's not in the game, and you're not paying attention to what's really going on. I wouldn't do anything with this girl. Don't call her, don't text her, don't do nothing. When you hear from her next, hey babe, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together next? Make a definite date. If she says, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I really want to talk to you, just say, oh, I'm real jammed up right now, I can't. But check your schedule and get back to me, and we'll plan something in because I'd love to see you. Then get off the phone. Make a date or withdraw the offer, and you're out of there. That's the only thing you can do. Because it communicates you want to see her, but if she's unavailable to do that, then you're going to go on about your life. It's not that you're kicking her out. You'd love to see her, but it takes 2 to make it work, and she's not making any effort at this point. So let's get into the fourth and final email. This guy says, hey, Corey, firstly, I'd like to thank you for spending your time to read this email. I'll attempt to keep it as brief as possible. Yeah, 2 to 3 paragraphs max. And I'm not talking about a page-long paragraph, like little paragraphs about like maybe that big. He says, there's this girl who I've met at college university, and we've been hanging out for a few months now. It started off as friends, and afterwards we both admitted that we felt so much happier around each other. Oh, it's so nice. You're talking about your feelings. You've been watching too many movies, dude. He says, I told her I had feelings for her. If you're on a date with her, if you're asking her out, she knows you like her. You don't have to say, I have feelings for you. It's all like gushy feminist bullshit that you see. Women understand that. They understand if you're asking them out or you're talking to them or if you walk up to them or you're on a date with them that you like them. They get that. They don't need you to go, oh, I have feelings for you. He says, she said she didn't see me that way, only as a friend. Alright, let's put the fucking brakes on here. Only see you as a friend. That's just not a good sign. That's what happens when you start talking like that, and then she's like, whoa. Remember, are you a good guy for me? I have feelings for you. I want a relationship with you. I want you all to myself. I don't want you talking to any other guy. I want to know what you're doing, where you're going, who you're doing it with. I want a phone call every night. I want a phone call in the morning. I want sweet text in the afternoon. That's basically what you're communicating when you act this way. And one was like, holy shit. I don't even know you yet. He says, after a while, I didn't even really play no contact since we see each other 2 to 3 times a week. But we kept hanging out, and then she kissed me and admitted that she had feelings. I basically got out of friend zone. At least that's what you're thinking. He says, what happened initially was she didn't know if her feelings were romantic or friendly. Obviously, she liked you, but you were not acting like a man at times. Sometimes you acted confident, and other times you acted like a woman. That's why, and when you act like a woman, it ruins the sexual polarity. So she goes from feeling attraction for you to, ew, just not feeling anything other than just being friends with you. Because you're too nice. You're being the emotional tampon. He says, but I was certain that they were romantic. There were signs of jealousy when I brought up other girls in addition to her going with her gut when she told me her friends said not to. We decided to go on a date. Let's have a date. The problem lies here. I took it too slow. After dinner, we kissed and cuddled, but I should have initiated sex, and I didn't. Yeah, too nice, afraid to get rejected. Kissing leads to heavy petting. Heavy petting leads to your hands wandering underneath her shirt, undoing her bra strap, and just next thing you know, you're naked in your bed, and you're deep inside her, and she's screaming your name. He says, the opportunity was there, and it's my biggest regret and downfall. Well, you snooze, you lose, bro. You obviously were doing plenty of things to express that you didn't have any confidence. He says, after this date, this is when I think she began to say that her feelings for me are confused, and then I knew it was all downhill from there. I got the wrong impression, looked needy, her feelings got confused because I didn't take it to a romantic level, and now she said that she has definitely decided the feelings were friendly. What you say to that is like, I think you're awesome, I think you're gorgeous, I think you're sexy as hell, but I can't just hang out with you and be a friend. That just doesn't work for me. I want you, and I want to see you. But if you're just thinking friendship, then give me a call if those feelings of yours come back and they change. You're going to walk and never look back, and maybe a week or two she reaches out to you. Maybe she doesn't. If she does, it means you still got a shot, and if she doesn't, it means you blew it. Move on. He says, the thing is, I told her that whatever happens, I think we'd still be good friends. Come on, man. What are you thinking? She agreed. Well, of course she's going to agree to that. But I don't want to be just friends with friendly feelings. It was like, well, then why the fuck did you tell her that? It's because you're afraid to be who you are. You're not feeling comfortable in your own skin because you're doubting your own self-worth and your desirability as a man. And so you're trying to like soften the blow for your ego by going, oh, it's okay if we just be friends. I won't mind that one bit. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm really looking forward to that big case of blue balls that you're going to give me. It's awesome. I can't wait. I get all backed up. Plumbing gets all backed up. He says, I feel that because I moved too slow, this confused her. No, you acted like a woman, dude, instead of a man. That's why she became confused. And now I've lost my chance. So how do I get her back? Stop trying to pursue her. She has also made it a point that she wouldn't like it if we didn't talk again. Would no contact be the best way? Yeah, I wouldn't do anything. If she reaches out to you again, just say, hey, I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together? Why don't you grab a bottle of wine, come on over to my place. We'll make dinner together. Invite her on over. And she says, oh, but okay, well, only as friends. And just say, well, I'm not interested in just being friends with you, just like what I said a few minutes ago, because you're hot, you're amazing, you're whatever it is you like about her. And that just wouldn't be fair to me to do that. So if you change your mind, give me a call because I would love to see you. He says it's quite difficult since we see each other 3 times a week, but in a month, the summer holidays will come and we won't see each other that often. Please let me know. Well, that's what I would do if I were you, which is nothing in this particular case. She reaches out, make a date. Otherwise, just say, hey, you know what? I blew it. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone session. You can do that by going to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a paid phone coaching session. And for those of you who don't have my Kindle ebook yet, on my website underneath the email sign-up box, there's a link that'll take you right to the Amazon Kindle page. Now if you don't have a Kindle device, that's okay, because you can download one of their free e-reader apps to whatever electronic device that you want to read my book on. And if you want the audio version of it, download the Kindle app and then purchase the book. And Kindle has a nice little feature where it'll actually read the book to you in a nice, sexy female voice. And I will talk to you soon.